The June snow hides a truth more terrifying than Chernobyl. When Caroline saw her best friend's ears bleeding, she could never have imagined that 72 hours later, 90% of women worldwide would be on a countdown to death. After waking up, the woman noticed something strange. It was supposed to be a hot summer, but now it was snowing. She and her husband stood in front of the window, confused, when suddenly her best friend walked in from outside. Before the woman could ask any questions, she was frozen in shock. Her friend was covered in dirt. Blood was flowing from her ears, and before the woman could speak, her friend collapsed onto the floor. They rushed her to the emergency room. As they waited outside, Da Zhuang noticed something odd. The hospital was suddenly filled with patients, and they were all experiencing the same symptoms as her friend, bleeding from their ears. Seeing this, Da Zhuang seemed to have an idea. He immediately told the woman they needed to go home, but the friend was still in the emergency room. The woman was reluctant to leave, so Da Zhuang finally shared his thoughts.
We've done all that we can for Carolyn right now. I'm thinking about you.
I'm fine.
It's only women. Let go.
The woman realized something was seriously wrong and quickly agreed to follow her husband home. On the way, they bought a few sets of protective gear. When they got home, they sealed the windows with plastic sheeting and disinfected the entire house. For her safety, they even installed curtains in her bedroom. Once everything was secured, Da Zhuang finally felt comfortable enough to let her sleep, although they still didn't know what exactly was going on. But they knew they had to be cautious. The next morning, the woman woke up to find her husband hadn't slept a wink. He had cleaned the living room again and gone out early to stock up on food. She was about to scold him for being overly paranoid when her phone suddenly rang. It was an alert telling all women to stay indoors. Only then did she realize how serious the situation had become. Meanwhile, the TV broadcast urgent news. A global virus had suddenly erupted, one that only affected women, triggered by the reckless discharge of wastewater. From that moment on, the woman stayed inside, unable to leave. She thought she just needed to wait until scientists found a cure. But to her horror, a month later, not only was there no solution, but the number of infected and dying women was steadily increasing. Outside, the world had descended into chaos.